Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. You don't look like my normal group of construction workers, but I guess you'll have to do. Now, when you are working on steel piping, I need you to know that there are two different types of welding. There's MIG welding and there's stick welding. Personally, I like MIG welding. It works a lot easier. You don't have to use two different hands at the same time. Just kind of comes right out. You know, you guys are looking at me crazy. Is it the hat? Promise you, you get your own kind, but I get the orange one because I'm the instructor. Yeah. Trust me. Now, if I continue, wait, I'm in the shop, am I? Wait, where am I? Schmeeckle? Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to be teaching Woodpeckers today, aren't I? Oh, that's right. Wonderful Woodpeckers! Oh, my apologies, my apologies. Let me start over. My name is Megan, and I'll actually be teaching you all about the wonderful Woodpeckers, and I'll be taking you on a nice stroll on this wonderful wintry day, all throughout the woods of Schmeeckle. And instead of doing a hard day's grueling days of work, we'll actually be learning all about the wonderful adaptations that they have, making them better throughout the nice, cold days of winter. Now, I've been an educator for many years of my life, and woodpeckers happen to be one of my favorite animals. Now, did you know that their tongues actually wrap around their brains to cushion their heads as they're banging into the woods trying to find bugs? You know, I wish I was a woodpecker, otherwise I wouldn't have all these concussions. What was I talking about again? Oh, right, woodpeckers. My bad. Right, let me see what I was talking about in my notes. Right. Oh, yes, woodpeckers. Right, they're easy to identify with unique adaptations in communication, body morphology, and their winter behavior. So they're perfect for those who may be new to bird watching, as well as those who are, you know, a little bit more experienced at it. And they're one of the few bird species who do not migrate during winter. So they're perfect for this, actually not bad day in winter, I guess. It is fall. Yeah, it's fall, right? So, first off, does anybody know what a screwdriver looks like? I mean, woodpecker. Yeah, you know what a screwdriver looks like. Woodpecker. Do you guys know what a woodpecker looks like? I see some hands. Perfect. So, is there any avid woodpecker or birders out there? Any hands? Any of your woodpeckers? Great. So, what is some of your favorite woodpeckers? Does anybody here have a favorite woodpecker? What's your favorite woodpecker?
Red crested.
Red crested woodpecker? Awesome. Any others?
The pileated.
The pileated. Perfect. The pileated is actually one of the woodpeckers I'm going to be talking about today. The other one is going to be the downy woodpeckers. Anybody ever heard of that? Yeah? It's a pretty small one too. There's a lot of these things that these birds have in common. There's one thing that these birds have something that makes them a little bit different. Their appearance. These two, one of these things that these two birds do have in common though is that they do not migrate during the winter, which we will continue on a little bit during our talk. But let's do something we should probably do is focus. I can't focus. Anyway, so let's start with the downy woodpecker. Now, I'm pretty sure a PowerPoint started. Let's get this started. Ah, there we go. Wintering woodpecker. There we go. So, here is the downy woodpecker. You didn't know what it looks like. Their scientific name is the Picioides pubescens. Pubescens kind of meaning small. Very tiny. They actually only get to be about 5 to 7 inches big, so like this big. I'll show you a comparison later on. You can find out or tell what they look like by their black and checkered white wings. If you want to tell what a male and female looks like, you can tell by this little red spot on the back of their heads. That's the male right there. And the female does not have a little red mark on the back of their heads. They also have black and white stripes horizontally on the side of their heads, so we got a little contouring action right here. There's also many variations throughout the lands, so make sure you know where you are in the country. You know, you don't want to figure out what a different downy woodpecker looks like, depending on where you are, so make sure you know where you are in the world, as well as which downy woodpecker you're looking at. Anyway, they're really tiny birds, and so what they do is they create very small circular holes about the size of how big they are. So if you ever find really tiny holes in a tree about that size, likely that's where a downy woodpecker is. There's something I'm forgetting that's unique about holes in trees. I don't remember. Do you think you know?
The woodpeckers do that so they can search for food and make holes.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Very good. See? Getting the stuff that I'm not remembering. Very good. Moving on. The pileated woodpecker, or Dryocopus pileatus, they got the name in there. They are a lot bigger of a bird, so they might be a little bit more easier to identify. They also got this really cool red mohawk going on. They also have that nice contouring action with the black and white stripe, but actually goes down to their body a little bit. They also have a mainly black body, but do not confuse them with a crow. I'll talk a little bit about that later. They also, males will have a red cheek stripe, while females do not. And their beaks are about the size of the length of their head. So you can probably, if you ever get close enough, you'll be able to see that. If you ever find a pileated woodpecker in an area, you'll often see them staying in the same tree because they'll be like, hey, food's right here in this spot. I'm lazy. I'm just going to stay on that spot. Why not go find searching anywhere else? Just stay here. Oh, I remembered about the woodpecker's holes. Did you know that you can tell a woodpecker that is living in the area based on what hole it is making in the tree? Yeah. So, pileated woodpeckers, they actually make rectangular holes. So, many woodpecker species, they create unique holes depending on which species. So, for downy woodpeckers, they make small circular holes. Pileated woodpeckers, for some reason, they just really like rectangles. So, their nesting cavities, their, pecking holes to get food, they're all rectangles. Different species just create different sized holes in different shapes. So definitely do your research on which woodpecker you're looking for. But for what our purposes today, we will look for squares and small circular holes. So yeah, I've also talked about the different sizes, about how big these birds get. Oh, I didn't tell you how, I forgot. Sorry about that, but I got you guys. These birds do get to be a size of about 15 to 19 inches as well. So they get to be almost 2 feet long. About this big. Yeah. So if you guys are like me and can't tell in comparison just by hearing inches, this is how they compare to regular birds. Yeah. So if you ever know what a house sparrow looks like, the downy woodpecker looks pretty similar to a house sparrow, but not as big as an American robin. However, a pileated woodpecker looks pretty close to a crow. But has anybody ever seen a pileated woodpecker fly before? Yeah? Are they kind of jagged? Like they go kind of crazy flying around?
Yeah.
Or is it more smooth and bounding? Yeah. Makes you think a little bit. Pileated woodpeckers are actually very smooth and bounding. They kind of just fly like an eagle. Get it? Yeah. So pileated woodpeckers are very smooth and bounding. But if you ever see a crow fly in flight, they're actually kind of just straight to the point. They just want to get there and go. So if you ever see a big black bird flying in the sky, just look at their flight pattern. And it might be either American crow or pileated woodpecker. Now there's one more thing that I'm forgetting about. So we've talked about things that make them different? Well, what's the opposite of things that make them so different?
Same.
Same. Yeah. So, what must be all these concussions that I've had over the years? Man, I think with this hard hat, I wouldn't have so many. So, I actually found a cool diagram. Remember that thing I was telling you about, how woodpeckers, their tongues protect their heads? Yeah, so all woodpeckers, their tongues protect their heads different ways, but this diagram shows you how they protect their heads. Yeah, it's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. So what it does is they wrap around their heads, and then as their tongue shoots out to get bugs inside the trees, because they're really sticky and they can just go, yeah, snatch the bug and bring it back into their mouth, it actually kind of loops around and they can stick it back out and bring it back in. And that's how
I
it can
do
protect
not
it.
want to look food.
Yeah, no, you don't want to.
Really smash.
However, do you guys want to see woodpecker action in slow-mo?
Yeah.
Yeah? Alright, I'll show you. I gotta figure out how to get this computer to work. There we go.
Oil Marie.
Let's do that again. I don't have a fast mo, I got a slow mo, but I got So it's a lot of force. So it's really cool that they have those tongues to protect it. Otherwise, you'd have to wear a hard hat like me. And probably really weird. See little woodpeckers having their own hard hats all day. That'd be funny. The other unique thing that all woodpeckers have is their toes. Has anybody ever seen their toes? They have 5 toes like us? No?
I have.
You have 5 toes? Man, I have 6 toes. I'm just kidding, I don't have 6 toes. But they have zygodactyl toes. Yeah. That means they have 2 toes in front and 2 toes in back. This helps them grab onto trees. I'm going to see if I can do this with my fingers. No, I can't. I've been trying this literally all week. Can anybody do this with their hands?
I can too.
Yeah, with your 2 hands? Yeah. So you can grab onto trees this way. They can grab onto branches, and they can grab onto anything. And they can do that cool pecking motion. Yeah. All right. Are you guys tired of listening to me stand up here and talk?
Yeah.
Well, are you ready to go pave a road?
No. Yes.
I'm just kidding. Alright, well, it must be time to go for our walk. So, to make it fun, while we're getting ready, we're going to meet out there. But when we go walk to our first place, I want you guys to look for any signs of woodpeckers. That means holes in trees, listening for drumming, seeing anything fly by that could be a woodpecker, anything fun like that. Alright? We'll talk about it at our first spot. But we're going to meet up there first so I can show you guys where our first spot will be. Awesome. Make sure you have all your things because it's kind of chilly out there. Ready? Alright, we're just going to go right around the corner, so if you would follow me, make sure to look for any signs of woodpecker life.
No, I know.
Some people want to scooch in over here. There's lots of room over here. If anybody wants to scooch in over here, there's lots of room over here.
Red squirrel's talking about. That one? No. Red. Only seen like 3 mornings. Oh, there's a bird.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. So, does everyone know why birds migrate? Yeah? Got a couple hands? Okay. It's because the beaches here, or the beaches there, are so much better when everyone's here is shoveling, and then you get to be like, oh my gosh, I'm in the beach, it's warm, right? I'm just kidding, right? It's because birds don't shovel snow. Oh, you got snow? Ah, thank you. Is that for me? Ah, I don't have gloves on. Okay, I'll give it back to you. Perfect, thank you. All right. Now, for real though, does anybody know why birds migrate? I saw some hands. Yeah, why do birds migrate?
Because it gets too cold here, they have to go somewhere warmer.
Yeah, very good.
If I was the bird, I'd choose Hawaii.
Hawaii? That's a good one. You have to go over a lot of oceans though, right?
They get to Hawaii?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Why do birds migrate?
Oh, really? No, you raise your hand.
All right. Well, birds migrate because their body temperature is way too high for the cold here. And because a lot of their food source goes away, you know, plants dying, and then their bugs that they're eating goes into hibernation, or they just die because the snow's too cold. However, you know, so birds like hummingbirds, they like to sip the sweet nectar from flowers and like a ballet in the summer. Well, you know, we have woodpeckers here. They like to stab the bugs out of wood like a jackhammer, and we get to enjoy their beauty all year long, right? So that's why we love woodpeckers. Now, so what adaptations do you think that woodpeckers will have to allow them to stay here throughout the winter? Any guesses?
Pecking in the holes and making their holes.
Yeah, very good. That is a very good guess. Any others? Right, well you got it right on the money. I'll give you a high five. That is exactly why I brought you all here today. So, pileated woodpeckers, for example, they chisel out their roosting cavities, which are basically snug hollows, where they'll shelter within the trees during the cold nights of fall and winter. So normally they roost by themselves or with their mates, and this even happens, oh my gosh, I have these all in my face. This even happens even while they're little fledglings, so right after they started to fly and they left their mom and dad. So basically like when we leave for college and we're just like, bye parents, bye, you know. So they basically just stay by themselves. So typically these cavities, again, will still be in this rectangular shape that the pileateds are known for. So it's good to look out for these shapes while you're on your bird walk. Speaking of shapes, remember that when you're working in construction, that when you're putting up the signs, they still need to be in that diamond shape. So I remember this guy, Steve, he put it up in a square shape, and then we had a bunch of crashes. The highway was backed up for hours. It was just a mess. We had to have a flight crew come in. It was ridiculous, so remember your shapes, right? All right. Speaking of shapes, again, do you guys see any nesting cavities behind me? Oh! Right there! There's so many of them! Right? Huh. Hey, that one over there!
Get up, everybody, get up!
Oh my gosh, I didn't see that one over there! Over there too! Very good! So, I actually chose this spot right here behind me because we get to see an example of a regular bird home, which is the one right at the bottom, as well as a woodpecker home, which is the one way at the top. So we can see the difference between like a summer home versus a winter home. So I have an activity here. Basically what we'll do, since we aren't wintering woodpeckers, I brought a bunch of extra scarves, hats, and mittens because I figured you, my construction workers, avid bird watchers, my bad, could possibly be cold out here. So I actually need a volunteer. You can take it. All right. Put it down. Put it down. Put it down. Scarves are all tight. All right. My hat came off. Okay. Hat. And you seem cold, so I'm going to give you another scarf. Can you fit these gloves? All right. Gotta unclip that. Here's some gloves. We already got a pair of gloves, but we need extra gloves. It's cold out here. It's Wisconsin. It's cold. We get what, negative 32 or something for wind chill sometimes? Yeah. We gotta be prepared for winter. All right. Yeah. Perfect. Got on? Awesome. Now you look cozy for winter. All right. Now it's time to hide from the cold. Do you see any holes big enough for you to sit in? In a tree? No? Well, that's okay. I made you a fancy face jackhammer. Yeah, because all woodpeckers have their own face jackhammers, right? So you can put it on if you want.
Why, poke your hole. Look, I poke in a hole.
I can help you if you want. Usually put it in the back and then you put it in. There you go.
Let's see.
Now, you can make your own very own nesting cavity. Think you're ready for winter? No? Well, that's okay. Thank you, volunteer. Can everyone give our volunteer a clap of hands? Thank you very much. And what's your name? Katia. Thank you, Katia. Now, our wintering woodpeckers, they have their own special, unique adaptations that can help them a lot better than all of our wintering gear, but we'll make do. All right, so I've talked a lot about woodpeckers' appearance because, I mean, they look pretty cool. They got a mohawk, they got a face jackhammer, they got cool claws, all of that. But there's one more thing I forgot. They have a pretty cool song, right? I mean, I heard that one song called, Come Together. Everybody loved it. I was like, yeah, come together. And we made lots of covers of it. Everybody sang it. It was a hit, right? No, wait, that was the Beatles. I'm pretty sure they communicate some way, right? All right, let's think about that. I want you to all think about how woodpeckers communicate, if not by song, but by what else, right? We are going to be going to our site number 2. It's going to be go down this path to the right. So if you would like to gather up any materials to set something down and follow me.
I'm not getting a shot, that's for sure. Smart.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Let people can come in this way if you want. Perfect. So did everyone think of different ways that woodpeckers can communicate if not by song? Yeah, I saw your hand. They peck very good. So that is called drumming. Can everybody drum? Very good. So, woodpeckers, they can drum on both artificial and natural objects. So, we have like wood and trees and things like poles and anything like metal, telephone poles, anything that they can just peck and drum on. And they do this to communicate lots and lots of different things, like mating and territorialism, and just kind of even say, hey, I'm a woodpecker. What's up? What's up? Hey. So cool that they have the ability to learn how to understand different drumming techniques. So for pileated woodpeckers, since we just talked about them, they're a really good example where they can drum for during courtship or as a response to an intruder that's coming towards their nest. They also drum on dead trees in a slow rolling pattern, like da 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 da. I actually can show you. Woo! I just realized I don't even have my phone on me. That's okay. I'll just play it for you on my. I'll do it on my folder like this. Just kidding. So it's kind of like that. Okay? So it's really slow, rolling pattern. And since we are in a forest, I especially chose this spot right here because it's really out in the open. And woodpeckers choose places like this out in the open because it echoes very well. So I'm actually gonna, I was actually gonna show that for you right now. So if you could listen. Echo! Echo! So woodpeckers do that so they can hear it throughout the entire forest. I also chose this spot because there's a lot of woodpecker activity right here. If you can look around, how many trees in this area have woodpecker holes in them? Echo! How many do you see?
I see one behind you has been beaten up by one.
Yeah. Can you count how many trees are around here? How many do you see? Say 5? 4? I actually counted about 8 the last time I was out here. So it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, somewhere around there. Yeah. For downy woodpeckers, for both species, because many species it's just the male that drums, but for downy woodpeckers, both species actually drum pretty heavily. They do it for claiming territories as well as attracting mates. Their drumming is made of very rapid movements to the point where it almost sounds like a single uninterrupted sound. So it's almost kind of like very quick movements. So it's almost uninterrupted sound. Oops, lost my page again. When they excavate for food as well, their tapping is at a much slower sound, so they often can attract their mates to a site as well. There's one question I've also always wondered. Can woodpeckers beat in time? Has anybody ever wondered that?
Can they be what?
Beat in time.
Beat in time.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about that? Yeah. So, it's an interesting phenomenon, I would surely think. And then they could be in a band, and that band would be even bigger than the Beatles, I think. And they could be called the Woodpeckers. Nah, that would be too easy in their name. We'll think about that later, though. But as I was preparing for the day, for some reason, I thought I was going to have a chance to even meet the Beatles and have a band practice for them. So, I actually, however, now I'm realizing I was actually preparing for today's lesson. So what I did was I brought, get my stuff out of the way, my bongos. And I wanted to see if anybody would like to try out their drumming skills on my handy dandy bongos. So one at a time, if anybody would like to come up and try their bongo skills.
You can try it. Get in line.
So try your drumming skills with this. So be like, can you try that? See how fast you can tap?
Ooh, that's good.
See if you can tap like a woodpecker. Can you do it? Really hard.
Good job.
Wanna try? Anybody else want to try?
I want to try it again.
You can try again. We have time. That's okay.
I didn't want to.
Now do it fast like a woodpecker.
Mommy.
Fast like a woodpecker.
There you go.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Good job. Good job. Oh my goodness. That pushed me back here. Oh boy.
Anybody else? Want to try? Yeah, it's fun, right? Terrific! Thank you, everyone. You all sound like wonderful woodpeckers. But, yes, you
No,
sound
you
wonderful.
don't, Huxley. No, you don't.
Be nice. All right. Perfect. Well, everyone, it seems like I am a little less prepared for a winter stroll.
Oh, I can carry some.
What?
I can carry some.
You hear some? Looks like we called some woodpeckers over. Oh, our drumming skills must have worked. That is wonderful. Thank you. Well, I'm a little less prepared for this winter stroll than our woodpeckers are prepared for construction day. So if you guys would want to, we'll head back to the meeting room / observation area. We'll look for some woodpeckers and we'll wrap up some things, maybe drink some coffee, eat some more snacks, and head back. Let me just pack up all our stuff and I'll walk you all back to the meeting room. All right. Well, welcome back. So I just have a few concluding statements for you guys.
Sit down, buddy.
All right. So, woodpeckers, they're wonderful. They are wonderful creatures who do not fly home or away from us for the winter and to the nice warm beaches. And they found unique ways to adapt to the harsh winter to find food all year round. They're construction workers who found ways to protect their bodies and ways to tap through the day rather than whistle through it, and found ways to have a cool style to make themselves different from one another. Now, there's one more thing that I forgot. Oh, your employee handbooks. I'm just kidding. It's actually a little brochure that's going to help you all throughout your nature walks or your own birding walks if you would like. This will help you find ways to see your wintering woodpeckers all year long, or find ways to, and I guess as well,
Please,
I'll pass it out.
down.
as well as ways to have wintering woodpeckers in your own backyard all year long. So you can see these wondrous beauties in your backyard, or find ways to see them on your own nature walks. Just have family fun, or just have your own fun as well. So go out, enjoy these wintering woodpeckers, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. And if you want to talk a little bit more, I will be in the observing room, and we'll be looking at some more wintering woodpeckers and some birds that might be in the area. So, thank you. Share.
Oh, I got it, thank you.
Increase is not deal.
But I guess in February, are they all?
Look at how suspicious are we supposed
That's why I talked about the other day that they're on the
Okay,
to see them. For sure.
like that's some dramatic shading. It has appreciated.
But,
It's just good shade.
Huh?